Hello and welcome to News Central Now. Here on News Central Television, I'm Joe Hansen. Let's take a look at the top stories for this hour. APC Chairman defends party spokesman amid online backlash. Communications Minister confirms imminent hike in Telecom's tariff. And Chad downplays presidential complex assault. Thanks for staying here with us. We'll bring to you the details shortly. Let's begin by telling you that the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has expressed support for the party's embattled National Publicity Secretary, Felix Morka, following backlash over comments made about Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. Ganduje criticized claims attributed to Obi as misleading and accused them of inciting pro-Obi supporters to target Felix Morka. His statement came after Morka had indeed talked about Peter Obi earlier on in a news interview. Well, let's move on now to judicial matters. The Lagos State Special Offences Court has indeed dismissed an application by former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele, challenging his jurisdiction to hear a $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud case brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In his ruling on Wednesday, Justice Rahman Oshodi affirmed the court's authority to try Emefiele and his co-defendant Henry Omoile. However, the judge struck out 4 of the 26 charges against the defendants, citing lack of jurisdiction. Emefiele faces accusations of abuse of office and the illegal allocation of funds amounting to $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira. At a prior hearing on December 12, 2024, Emefiele's counsel, Olalekan Ojo, argued that the case should not be heard in Lagos. The trial is set to continue on February 24 and 26, 2025. And still staying on judicial matters, let's tell you that the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the interim freezing and forfeiture of over 228.4 million naira linked to former Abia State Governor Theodore Orji. Justice Emeka Nwite issued the order on Wednesday after hearing an ex parte application filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. EFCC counsel Fadila Yusuf informed the court that the forfeiture was crucial to the agency's investigation into allegations of money laundering involving the former governor. Justice Nwite directed the EFCC to publish the forfeiture order in a national newspaper to notify any interested parties. He also invited individuals with claims to the funds to appear before the court within 14 days to explain why the money should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. The case was adjourned to February 3 for a compliance report. Let's tell you that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has also detained 10 of its officers for allegedly stealing operational items they could not account for. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewale, said the arrests were made following directives from the agency's executive chairman, Ola Olukayode. The development comes just days after the EFCC dismissed 27 personnel for fraudulent activities and misconduct. Oyewale stated that the detentions were part of ongoing efforts to eliminate corruption within the agency. Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization, Journalists Against Corruption, has applauded the EFCC's recent actions, describing them as a commitment to maintaining integrity within the anti-graft body. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more stories here on News Now. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosu Tijani, is also in the news as he has confirmed that the telecom tariffs in Nigeria will rise, but not by the 100% proposed by operators. Speaking after a stakeholders meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, Tijani disclosed that a commissioned study on the tariff adjustment is still under review, and the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, will issue directives to ensure a balanced outcome. The minister stressed the need for proper regulations to support the sustainable growth of the telecommunications sector amidst global economic pressures. He also acknowledged operators' calls for significant tariff hikes due to rising operational costs, but assured Nigerians that the government is taking steps to cushion the impact. Tijani reiterated the government's commitment to striking a balance between the interests of operators and the financial well-being of Nigerians. Nigeria's National Youth Conference, the first in more than a decade, is expected to hold in the first week of February. A 30-day gathering was introduced in response to recent youth agitations against the Nigerian government. The organizers plan to engage delegates on critical issues affecting young people in the country, and this includes rising cost of living, unemployment, access to quality education, social services, just to mention a few. Well, away from that, let's tell you that survivors of the Agbor tanker inferno in Delta State, South Nigeria, are yet to recover from the shock and depression following the tragic incident. Coping with such a traumatic event can be extremely challenging, but words of encouragement, including financial assistance to the victims' families and survivors, could be one of the ways to manage the emotional fallout. News Central correspondent Austin Azu has more in this report.
Days after the disaster that struck in Agbor, a South local government area of Delta State, where a diesel-laden tanker failed to brake, fell on the ever-busy old Lagos-Asaba road, exploded, killed 4 persons, burnt buildings including commercial banks and parts of church building.
Not be sporting, we don't see water, we don't see water. Many people's house don't go, load don't go, Mona come back.
Though survivors of the inferno are still counting their losses, they look forward to immediate relief and long-term assistance.
I'm appealing to the government so that they can come to our aid and do something for us so that we can see something to cope up again.
Meanwhile, Chairman Board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Chiedu Ebier, is here at the site of the incidents and meets with survivors of the disaster.
The cases we commiserate with both sets or groups of people on this unfortunate incident. And we will definitely see how best we can support to support the affected persons, because people, as you can see, people have lost their sources of livelihood, and so we call on not just government institutions, but also good-spirited individuals to come to the aid but we definitely will support them. We're going to compile a list of those that have been affected, determine the losses incurred. That's for those that lost material things, and see how best we can support them so that they can get their businesses back on track.
The NDDC board chairman later visited the husbands of 2 of the victims, where he offered words of hope and encouragement.
At times like this, the only way people can get over it is when people come to support, come to commiserate with you, show you plenty of love and concern, and that's why we're here today. I can feel and see the pain in your eyes, but you know, it's just very unfortunate. We hope that God will give you the strength and the fortitude to bear the loss of your wife.
It remains to be seen how the survivors rebuild themselves in the aftermath of the devastating tanker blast. In Agbor for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Well, as businesses resume after the Christmas and New Year festivities, poultry sellers in the nation's capital, Abuja, say they are still grappling with losses incurred during the season, as many of their stock remain unsold. Some of them spoke to News Central Television in Abuja, saying that despite the expectations of high sales during the festivities, a substantial part of their stock remain unsold, leading to severe financial strain among sellers. Our correspondent Joshua Marayi has more in this report. that package in our subsequent news bulletin. But let's quickly go for a break and tell you that coming up next, attack at presidential complex leaves several dead. We have details of that story and more. Stay with us to find out. Well, right before the break, we told you that businesses that have resumed in the Federal Capital Territory, especially after the Christmas and New Year festivities, focusing on poultry sellers, have continued to complain the lack of making sales during the Yuletide season. Let's go straight to the package by our correspondent, Joshua Imarai.
For Nigerians like Ngoche Felicia, rearing chickens for the Christmas and New Year festivities has always been a moment to look up to. With the increase in the cost of chicken feed, vaccination, and basic chicken medication, which caused a hike in prices, many sellers hope to recoup their investment during the festivities.
Before I used to buy chicken 120, 100 naira a day old, but now 1,001 something. So it's very expensive. Chicken
sellers at the Nyanya market in Abuja were not left out, as many of them had unsold stock, with the price of chicken affected by inflation and increasing by over 100% when compared to this time last year.
During Christmas time, we face many challenges about the market. The things are still cost muchly, though we buy it and then we will sell. Like other years, we would buy it plenty, like 300, 200 pieces, and then we'll sell it. But this time, because the real challenge with this, we didn't get much market. Just few of us, we just said few.
Many consumers say that they had to adjust their budget because of the high price of chicken.
We enjoyed previous Christmas, but this time, it wasn't really that good. I got 2 chicken for 15,000, and it's actually the same size.
However, for individuals like Hussein Ibrahim, who renders butchering services at the market, his own story was different as business went as normal.
This Christmas is better to last year because this year I keep more than 200, the way I tell you. But that last year, many people don't have money to buy some things.
The festive season brought misfortunes for different stakeholders. Though chicken is a staple commodity on the tables of many Nigerians, they say they are hoping the price of chicken will be more affordable during the next festive season. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
It was a day of agony for residents of a block of flats at Umuichi Nkata Ibeku in Umuahia North, LGA, as they watched their property destroyed in a fire that gutted their homes. The cause of the fire outbreak is yet to be ascertained. However, the intervention of the State Fire Service and the youth of the community prevented the fire from spreading to other buildings within the vicinity. Occupants of the flats are decrying the loss of all their property in the inferno. Well, let's move on now and tell you that a young lady has been arrested by the police in Delta State, South Nigeria, after conniving with her boyfriend to deceive her parents that she has been kidnapped, whereas she deliberately faked the kidnap to obtain huge sum of money as ransom from her parents. A ransom of 2 million naira was demanded from the parents while she was taking refuge at the boyfriend's house, where the plot was hatched. According to the police in Delta State, the fake kidnap was uncovered following a discreet investigation, as both the girl and the boy, that's her boyfriend, were indeed arrested.
They will be parading a girl and a boy. She's 21 years. We'll find out the age of the boy very soon. She left the house on the 30th of December to go and visit the boyfriend. And when it's time for her to go back, the boyfriend was not having transport fare to give to her, and she sold the idea to the boyfriend. Why don't we call my parents and tell them that I have been kidnapped? They actually called the parents and demanded for 2 million naira. Even when the parents were begging for 100,000, they declined. 500,000, they declined, until the parent decided to report to the police.
Well, let's move on to our next story now and quickly tell you that Chad's government has downplayed the recent assault on its presidential complex, rejecting claims that it was a terrorist act. Government spokesman and Foreign Minister Abdelrahman Kulemala, addressing the nation on state television, described the attack as disorganized and incomprehensible. Kulemala revealed that the assailants had attacked 4 guards before breaching the complex, where they were easily overpowered. He added that the surviving attackers appeared to be completely drugged and posed no significant threat to the nation. Chad, under military rule, frequently faces security challenges, particularly from Boko Haram militants in the Lake Chad region bordering Cameroon, Nigeria, and Niger Republic. The country recently terminated a military agreement with France and has been accused of meddling in Sudan's ongoing conflict.
C'est une attaque de 25 assaillants, 24 plus précisément, une sorte de ramassis de bandes nickelées qui sont venus avec des armes de coupe-coupe, des couteaux. Ils sont descendus de façon violente et ils ont poignardé les 4 gardes qui étaient présents. Ils ont tué un et blessé grièvement 2 et un autre est blessé, mais sa vie n'est pas en danger. Ensuite, ils ont pu pénétrer à une courte distance à l'intérieur de la présidence et un des gardes a commencé à tirer et ça a réveillé la vigilance des autres gardes postés tout autour. Il semble que l'acte terroriste ne me paraît pas crédible personnellement, puisque j'étais sur les lieux, mais le procureur de la République communiquera dessus. Mais c'est vraiment un ramassis de pieds nickelés. Ils n'avaient aucune arme de guerre et leur tentative était une tentative désordonnée, complètement incompréhensible. Que c'est une attaque qui est complètement désespérée. Ni les institutions de la présidence de la République, l'institution présidentielle, ni les autres institutions de la République, ni aucune menace ne pèse actuellement sur
Mozambique's opposition leader Venancio Mondlane is set to return from exile today, reigniting tensions over the disputed October presidential elections. Mondlane, who claims he won the polls, announced he would arrive at Maputo International Airport at 8 a.m. local time to continue his demand for electoral truth. Gunfire erupted Thursday morning as security forces worked to block supporters from reaching the airport in the capital. Mondlane has accused the ruling Frelimo party of rigging the election in favor of its candidate, Daniel Chapo, who is set to be sworn in on January 15. Mondlane's return comes amid escalating violence tied to the election dispute. According to a local rights group, around 300 people have been killed, including protesters in police crackdowns. Authorities have also reported casualties among police officers alongside widespread looting and vandalism. The situation remains tense, with observers concerned that Mondlane's return could deepen divisions and further destabilize the country. Well, away from that story, we'll go for a quick break, and when we return, we do have more. Stay with us here on News Now. Welcome back to News Now, here on News Central Television. Well, news has it that opposition leader in Mozambique, otherwise known as Venancio Mondlane, has arrived to the country. His security seems to be indeed the people of Mozambique who are indeed guarding him, especially as soon as he touched down in Mozambique. I do have a guest who's joining me now, a journalist in Maputo. Charles Manguiro joins me this morning. Good morning, Charles. Thank you for being here. Can you provide a brief overview? Great. Can you provide a brief overview of the political landscape in Mozambique as we speak now, leading up to the return of the opposition leader? Can you also tell us what the main factors contributing to the current tensions are? We do understand, of course, the case of Chapo, the elections not being won, which has led to, of course, what we see, over 300 persons dead. But can you tell us what the situation currently is like now?
Venancio Mondlane arrives in Mozambique after being out of the country for close to 2 months now, for almost 3 months, because he left on October the 21st. The situation right now in Mozambique is that the protests have calmed down after Mondlane is saying that he will be coming to Mozambique to join his supporters, to be with his supporters, and launch what he had called the spearhead, the last part of the protest. However, there is a belief that now Mondlane is in Mozambique, he will be ready to talk, as he said this morning on arrival, that he is coming to Mozambique to be with his people. He is coming to Mozambique to visit the mass graves of those who were murdered during the protest that since the election results were announced in November. So in about a few days, a the President-elect Daniel Chapo will be sworn into office, and that will be presided by the swearing into office of the members of Parliament. That is on Monday. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty on which direction the country will take, because Venancio Mondlane contends that the elections were fraudulent, and he is not accepting the result. He said this morning on arrival that he will not accept any of those results that were accepted, including that even if they are talked, he will not accept any government position. He's not in this for the money. He said he's in this for his people. So we are not certain what will happen next week when he had told his supporters that he will be taking office the same day when Chapo will be sworn into office. But for the past few days, Mondlane has not made any public statements on how he will be sworn into office.
Okay. Let's talk about update on the lawyer to Mondlane that was shot and killed. Is there any update? Have the police or security operatives been able to find the culprits? And what does this mean, especially for Mondlane coming back to a situation that just took the life of someone who was representing him as well?
Since Elvino Diaz was gunned down in the Maputo streets on 19 October, there has been no response from the police. They have not made any statements about who has been arrested or the progress of any investigation so far. We have not been told of anything. Mondlane himself said this morning that he is coming to Mozambique for those who want to talk to him, they can talk to him. If they want to arrest him, they can arrest him. If they want to kill him, they can arrest him. They can kill him. So he's saying that he's coming to Mozambique to face justice if they want to talk to him.
Let's talk about the death. We've seen a toll. Many media reports cannot pinpoint the actual number. We do have numbers or media houses that have reported that it's 300. We also have seen numbers that have surpassed 300. And we've also heard that these deaths include even youths, those who are right below the ages that are fit to actually engage in elections. Can you shed more light on the death toll, especially looking at the fact that these numbers are not stagnant?
It should be noted that the majority of the protesters during this 8 weeks of protest in Mozambique, there's been largely the youth, those most of whom have no jobs, most of whom are university graduates. They have been checking, but they've been on the streets every day. So far, the numbers have been conflicting almost every time. But from what we've been seeing from various sources is that many people really died. The numbers could be far above the 300, the official figure we know, because some of the deaths were happening in places with difficult access. As you know, Mozambique is one of the countries in Southern Africa with bad road accesses. So some deaths were not reported, and these deaths, the death toll we have has been coming from various civil society organizations, and always the government figures has been very low, far below the 300 that has been reported so far by the media. But we believe from the injuries that took place, many people were shot, many people were injured during some did not die on spot, but there are many people who died in hospital after sustaining serious injuries. So with regards to figures, we are still expecting to get an official figure from the government, because so far we are only getting figures from mainly the civil society organizations.
Let's talk about the United Nations, especially looking at what's really happening in Mozambique, especially tied to human rights as well. We've talked about the death tolls now, and we've seen that the lives of many Mozambicans in quotes would be affected. Can you shed more light on how human rights has been downplayed in the course of an election like this?
Yes, there are various theories with regards to that, because not every civil society organization were on the street, but now they are saying that many people have been arrested. Many people are still in the youth bar. Mozambique's Bar Association has been trying to help many youth who have been arrested with their involvement in this protest in Mozambique. So in the coming weeks, when President-elected Chapo has finally been sworn in office, we are waiting to get a clear picture of what will be the destiny of these many youth who were arrested. Remember last week, just on Christmas Day, we had 6,000 people who escaped from the major prison in Mozambique, most of those who escaped were arrested during the protests in Mozambique. So right now, we are not sure what will be the destiny of these people, but we expect that once Daniel Chapo has been sworn into office, more light will come as to what will be the destiny of many things which need to be looked at in Mozambique. Right now, we're just waiting for the 15th of August of January, when Chapo is officially in office, so that the country can take its normal direction.
Well, if we are to count down on the swearing in of Chapo, today happens to be the 9th. We're looking at 10 and, of course, possibly the 19th of this month. Why is it that you do have Mondlane coming in at this time? With just 10 days to the swearing in of the new president. Do you foresee any possibility of an increased turbulence, especially when it comes to protesters, ensuring that they can stop that swearing in from happening?
Right now, Mondlane has been coming every day on his live videos on Facebook, but since last Sunday, he has not mentioned. He just said that he was going to launch his spearhead protest, but yes, he did not tell his supporters how this will take place. But now that Mondlane is in Maputo, we are waiting to hear from what his command, because the Mozambicans, many of his supporters, they really listen to him. We will wait until Mondlane finally talks to his supporters to tell them which direction she will take. But for now, there's a lot of uncertainty in Mozambique as to which direction the country will take, because the supporters are also curious to know what message Mondlane is bringing to his supporters. And the country also needs to wait that what will Mondlane do from now until the 15th of October. He told his supporters on arrival at this point that he's not accepting the results. He will also not accept any executive post, whichever way the talks will take with the government officials. So it's very difficult to predict what can happen, but it's good that Mondlane is in the country now. He will be close to his people. He will be able to tell his supporters what to do next, but we don't know what will happen, because this week the country was supposed to be under fire, since he said that this week he had planned to launch his last phase of the protest before Chapo's taking office.
But in your opinion, what implications might the opposition leader's return have on the upcoming presidential inauguration?
Right now, there's a talk of the opposition being split now, because the party that supported Mondlane during the election campaign, Podemos, says that if their elected MPs will be sworn into office on Monday. So this means that they are not agreeing, but they are saying that they signed a pre-election agreement in which was going to last until 2028. But now that the party that has been with Mondlane for almost during all this period is saying that they will be taking their seats on Monday as members of parliament. We are not sure what will they say if they take their members. We have also not heard from Mondlane. What will he tell his supporters after the Podemos members? The party that has been with him through and through has taken part in the protest alleging electoral fraud.
Well, I want to say thank you so much, Charles, for talking to us here all the way from Maputo. We'll follow up and see what will happen, especially now that Mondlane has touched down and he seems to have gathered a lot of supporters who are right there with him. Thank you so much for your time and telling us more on what's happening there in Maputo, also in Mozambique. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead here on News Now, 5 dead in Los Angeles, devastating wildfires. We have this story and more. Stay with us to get the details. According to officials, a wildfire in Los Angeles has claimed the lives of at least 5 people. Firefighters battled fresh fires, one of which is in the city's well-known Hollywood Hills, with firefighters struggling to bring the blazes under control due to strong winds and dry conditions. More than 130,000 people across the wider Los Angeles area are now under evacuation orders. The new evacuation zones include neighborhoods of Santa Monica, which is well known for its pier, and the Hollywood Hills, where a new fire known as the Sunset Fire started on Wednesday. Los Angeles Fire Department Chief Christine Crowley said on Wednesday that the largest of the fires, the Pacific Palisades blaze to the west of downtown Los Angeles, was now over 15,800 acres and growing.
We have over 100,000 people under mandatory evacuation. We've had 5 fatalities, and then we have close to another 100,000 people who have been warned to evacuate because they are in a danger zone.
Venezuelan Ambassador Ricardo Capella left Paraguay on Wednesday, accompanied by his wife and 5 other officials from the diplomatic headquarters in Asunción, following the breakdown of relations with the government of Nicolás Maduro. In reference to the former opposition candidate who asserts victory in the July elections and vows to enter office on Friday, the diplomat stated that Venezuelan immigrants now have the chance to request that the Paraguayan government recognize opposition candidate Edmundo González.
Ahora tú tienes que asumir los problemas de los venezolanos que están aquí, que vinieron pues buscando un mejor vivir que les ofrecieron. ¿Por qué tú crees que se van los migrantes a Estados Unidos? Porque les han ofrecido en Estados Unidos que van a vivir mejor. Y tienen que pasar por el Darién y tienen que pasar por todo Centroamérica y llegan allá, los meten presos, van allá y después les dicen que los van a volver a su país. ¿No les dijeron que iban a estar mejor? Ahora tienen ellos oportunidad de irle a preguntar al gobierno de Paraguay que reconoce el Mundo González y que el Mundo González le resuelva sus problemas. ¿Quién va a ser el presidente? ¿A quién va a llamar el presidente?
In sports, former Super Eagles striker Brownie Diaz scored again in Enyimba FC's 2-1 victory over Nasarawa United in a rescheduled MPFL match. Joseph Atule opened the scoring for Enyimba in the first half before Anas Yusuf equalized with his 11th goal of the season. However, Diaz sealed the win with his first NPFL goal in 18 years, marking his return to domestic football after stints with Ocean Boys and Bayelsa United. Idea now has 2 goals in 3 matches for Enyimba, further boosting the People's Elephant India campaign. West Ham United have confirmed Graham Porter as their new manager following the dismissal of Julian Lopetegui. Porter, the former Brighton and Chelsea boss, has signed a 2.5-year deal and will be unveiled at London Stadium on Thursday. Lopetegui, who took charge in July after being appointed in May, was sacked on Wednesday following a poor run of form. During his tenure, the Hammers secured just 6 Premier League wins this season, leaving the club 14th in the table, 7 points above relegation. A 4-1 defeat to Manchester City last weekend marked West Ham's 9th loss in 20 games. The club also parted ways with Lopetegui's backroom staff. Let's talk about the Carabao Cup, where Lucas Begval's 86-minute goal secured Tottenham's 1-0 victory over defending champions Liverpool in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final on Wednesday. The 18-year-old Swede strike ended Liverpool's 24-match unbeaten run in all competitions. Spurs, despite injuries and a challenging season, created a better chances, with Begval capitalizing on Dominic Solanke's build-up to beat Alisson. Earlier, Solanke had a goal ruled out by VAR, which referee Stott Atwell announced directly to the crowd. Liverpool, who won 6-3 at Spurs in December, struggled to find their rhythm, while Tottenham's defence, led by Radu Dragusin, held firm. The second leg at Anfield next month will decide the tie. Newcastle defeated Arsenal 2-0 in the other semi-final. Barcelona secured a 2-0 victory over Athletic Club to advance to the Spanish Super Cup final at the King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Saudi Arabia. Gavi opened the scoring in the 17th minute, converting Alejandro Balde's pass, while 16-year-old Lamine Yamal doubled the lead early in the second half with a superb finish past Unai Simon. Atletic's Inaki Williams had a late goal disallowed for offside, while Barcelona will face either Real Madrid or Mallorca in Sunday's final. Dani Olmo and Paul Victor, newly registered under provisional permission from Spain's National Sports Council, could feature in the final after missing the semi-finals due to the earlier wage cap restrictions. And on that note, we wrap up the news for this hour. Before we go, a quick look at some of the major stories once again. APC Chairman defends party spokesman amid online backlash. Communications Minister confirms imminent hike in Telecom's tariffs. And Chad downplays a presidential complex assault. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274. Also, you can stream live on all socials right there on the screen. I'm Joe Hansen, thanking you for watching. Stay with us, 10 a.m. The ladies will be here for Jasiri. Good morning.